Hey guys, so the idea of this experiment was to make all of the European leagues the same reputation and to get the same money from TV deals and league positions as the Premier League does. This is because I'm sick of playing saves where Premier League teams just dominate the Champions League. So what I did was go open in the editor and edit every single individual league to get the same amount of money, of reputation, and to each individual team within those league to bump them up to the same reputation as Real Madrid start the game at. Now, I'm in Football Manager 2017, as you can probably tell, um, but you can do this on your own save. Um, I've gone to 2021. The game starts in 2016, so five years, I think possibly four if I've got my maths wrong. And as you can see by now, we have Belgium as the top league in Europe, Denmark, Holland, so on and so forth. What I did actually do was leave, so increase all of the other teams in the Premier League to the same reputation as everyone else, but with the actual Premier League itself, I reduced its reputation. The same with La Liga, same with League One, and Serie A. The reason I did this was that when I first ran the experiment, the Premier League teams just dominated anyway, so I took them all down. I actually went through and changed each individual. If you look here, the dominant clubs, the top six, they changed their reputation down to 2,000, but they still dominate anyway. And Liverpool here has gone up to 4,888. But if we look at the Premier League, the same team's still winning it since we started here. United, 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 Liverpool, Liverpool. So no fun there. West Ham got taken over by a tycoon early on in the save. We see that there in the first season. Yeah, so Premier League's just broken. I mean, I changed every other team to 9,250, and they just dropped down. And it seems to self-correct itself as it goes on. I actually came in the third year and the fourth year and changed the United, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Tottenham, and Chelsea back to 2000, but they still go back up. Um, so, what can you do, really? Yeah, I have the update, which is why Solskjaer is the manager there. Steven Gerrard's at Rangers, so on and so forth. But if you look at Liverpool now, don't have a manager. They just won the Premier League. Um, Roberto Martinez, he's left. I'm assuming he's gone somewhere else. Yeah, he's gone to City. City had a weird couple of managers as well. I can go and make other videos if you guys are interested in this, but you can see reducing their reputation at the Pep Guardiola got sacked after 282 days. They got Mourinho in. He was there for 2 years. Then he was sacked. So reputation does make it harder for them in Europe. Well, what I should say is what I found out is that reputation they make it harder for teams. So regardless of the players they've got, because they still got De Bruyne and things like that. But when they go up in the Champions League, they lose to teams with worse players but better reputation. So whether that's something that we didn't know about, or I didn't know about, um, Football Manager is interesting to me. We've got here, however, Tottenham. First 2 years. Where am I going? Competitions. No, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Champions League. They won the first two. But if you look at this is what's interesting. Benfica, Celtic, and then Copenhagen have all won. So as you can see, Sporting made the final here. I'll just go to the stages and we'll look at the final. Let's go here. Yeah, so this year we had Copenhagen versus Sporting. Last year Celtic versus Inter. Year before that, City lost to Benfica. So as I said, City a much better team than Benfica, but they lost to them. And if we actually look at the knockout rounds, let's see the tree. What am I doing? You can see here the people who you wouldn't expect to be doing well. So the Benfica beat Paris Saint-Germain, PSV, I mean, yes, a gimme. Monaco, a year later. Look at these teams going. Udinese, beating Schalke and Napoli, who have won the Serie A the entire time, by the way. Besiktas, Celtic beat Salzburg. It's getting a little bit more interesting. The whole point of this challenge was to get it that um, we got these new teams. I wanted it like, the very first few, well, not the first few Champions League when Real Madrid won everything, but when we started seeing people like Celtic and Red Bull, um, Red Star, going in and doing well in the Champions League, not necessarily winning it, but just a bit more interesting teams. You can still see that United they're still getting through the Champions League group stages, which I think is why their reputation just immediately goes back up. But look at this Lithuanian team, getting through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We got Genk, Sporting, Shakhtar, and Copenhagen in the semi-finals. That's so much more interesting to me. I mean, it might not be to you, but I have another save where I'm in 2050, and it's just English teams winning. It's boring. I want to be able to go, around different countries, try different things. What's interesting, however, is these teams. So some of the leagues, for some reason, you can edit the reputation of the league, but you couldn't edit the team's reputation. Now, obviously, these have gone up, but um, see how I can't click on the league? Now, so they will buy some players, but most of their teams actually grade out, which means every game they're getting different players. But the players that they're getting are really good quality. So when they're going up against these other teams, even though they're grayed out players, they're really good. And so Lithuania, their country's not going to be able to use them because they're grey. But you can see the stats that they have are good enough to take them far in the Champions League. I guess if you took control of these teams, I don't think that I clicked Phil. Well, obviously, I didn't click Phil with regens when I made the save, and maybe I will do that next time. But again, if you look at the, I'll have to go to a league I can click on. So if we go Shakhtar, who are in Ukraine, the competition reputation is still the same. So Luxembourg, I can't click on their league, as you can see, or Malta's, or Lithuania's, but they're still up there, and they're climbing still. So there are other ones that they're going up. So Scotland's gone up, Holland's gone up, Denmark's gone up, and there's one that's going down, which, La Liga. As I said, I moved the reputation for La Liga and Italy and Premier League. It's out of 200, and I think I moved it down to 100. It shot back up. The Premier League is the interesting one. As you can see, I lowered it. It went down all the way down to 17th, and then shot back straight up to first. I put it down to 100. None of their teams won the Champions League in 2019, but the league just shut back up. So I don't know if that's because of England's reputation or what, but for some reason the Premier League tends to just shoot right back up no matter what you do to it. I dropped half of their, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham. Sorry, not West Ham, but United. The big six. I dropped all of their reputations down from 9,250, which everyone else in Europe had, to 2,000, and they just shoot back up. Whereas other teams in the league have dropped. So I don't know if it's hard coded in the game that United, City, and the Big Six will automatically always go up in rep, but it does seem to be that way. At least this anecdotal evidence here. But also, if we go to the Champions League winners here, so we see obviously Benfica. They're really taking over. Sporting are also doing well, but Benfica, as you can see, they've won by 11 points here. They're taking over Portugal. They're doing really well. But if we go down to the Europa League, this is the interesting one. Juventus, one of the teams that I dropped to 2,000 rep, and straight away went and run the Europa League. But Shakhtar won it the first season when so the first season everybody had 9,250 out of 10,000 rep, including United and Juventus and that. It wasn't until Tottenham won 2 Champions Leagues in a row that I dropped their reputations, and including Juventus, and they went on and won it anyway. But here, look, we have a Montenegro team going on winning. This is their key player. He's garbage. But again, because they have grayed out players, you know, they get really good ones. And they just go on and win based on these grayed out players. They'll make signings as well, as you can see. Um, if we click on Mostar FC, who won, they're from Malta. Again, one of the leagues that I can't click on. Garbage players as well. And if you go to their transfer history, they don't seem to make transfers there. But the first couple of seasons, these teams were making these transfers. So we'll go look at the transfers now. If we go through to transfers. All right, so we're in June at the moment, so we'll have to go. I've got our leading transfers. Let's go all transfers. June 2021. Sort of by fee. So you can see like Maccabi Tel Aviv. You know, then they're 21 million pounds to spend because the reputation of their league, the sponsorships that they can now get, and each team, much like in the Premier League, if they get a televised game, get £1,500. It was 1,200, but in my game, it gone up to 1,500 because of inflation or what have you. So I just set everyone's the same. The Premier League's the same. So even though Premier League reputation has dropped, they still get the same amount of money. Every team, so I think the first player in every league, first team in every league, so champions, get 40 million. Then it goes 39, 38, 37, all the way down. So some leagues stop at 10 teams. So the lowest team there is getting 30 million or 29 million, however it works out. The Premier League's obviously got 20, so their last one, I think, off the top of my head, I think it's like 12 million. Regardless, it goes down by 1 million per place. So each team throughout Europe, depending on where they finish, has the potential to earn the same amount of money as the champions of the Premier League. Because the reputation, their sponsors, obviously, it will be the same. The only difference is the size of the stadiums. I haven't affected that at all. So United, if they're filling out, Old Trafford, they're still getting a couple of million per game from that. With their reputation being decreased, I've not actually checked if, I suppose we can do it now, but I've not checked if they are filling out their stadium each week. So let's have a look. Attendances, yeah, so they're still getting, against Fulham, 75,000. What a joke. I mean, the reputation's on local. What's the point of even editing it? Anyway, here we go to the transfers. So yeah, if we look through here and we can see, I don't know if we can do it by year, maybe. No. All right. So Zenit are actually, I'm not sure if they're winning their league, but they're you always see them making the transfers. Oh yeah, they're winning. CSKA is getting in there as well, but Zenit, they're making big transfers, big moves. As you can see, Man United, this is when I dropped. This year, I every couple of months I went in and kept reducing them back to 2,000 because it goes up really quickly. After about a month, they'll jump up to 3,000-4,000. But they're still spending this money from another team that's a worldwide reputation. But the players that they're buying are not the same level. I mean, it's a wonder kid, so I'm talking out my ass. Oh dear. But yeah, if we go to the January transfer window here, you can see Arsenal again. No point in reducing their fucking reputation; it just goes all the way up. But Zenit, you can see, mate, spending a lot of money. Real Madrid the same, reduced them. It just doesn't matter. Juventus, again, why am I bothering? But their performances are dropping, which is the important part. So they're not doing it as well in Europe. If we go to August, you see Liverpool, Gladbach is there, it's Arsenal, Zenit, Bayern, again, one of the teams that I'd reduced. So they bought Malang Sarr as a strong centre-back. He's all right, 22 million. I mean, they overspent massively. But then it could be because the reputation of their league's been brought down, that because they spent this much, the moment he went in, his values halved. But we are a year later as well, so there's always that. West Ham, of course, they got bought out. But you can see these teams down here. So I don't even know what we've got here. Serbian team. They're not even winning the league, but they're still able to spend £30 million on a player from Russia. Is he any good? Oh, Dendonka. Didn't even need to check, did I? Yes, he's good. All right, so But you can see it's pretty interesting that these different teams that wouldn't would otherwise be getting £6,000 for winning a league if you're going in Malta, they're suddenly getting 40 million and they're able to compete. This is August, Fulham 32 million, Nice 24. But you just got all of these teams suddenly able to compete with teams that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And for me, it makes it so much more interesting. Kondogbia here, moving from Bayern to Zagreb. I've not actually inserted myself. My manager's unemployed, just so that I can observe and holiday through. I'm planning on putting myself in the team. I have it saved. I'm really invested. As I say, I'm in 2050 odd. Origi, he's garbage in real life. they just He's always good on FM and he's always as well. As I Yeah, I've got a save I'm really invested in, but I plan on doing the save because I just think it's more fun. I could take over anywhere here in have the potential to compete. I didn't go and change obviously the championship and the League Ones, League Twos of the world's of Europe's competitions. Panathinaikos being able to spend £18.75 million on a player from Fiorentina, suddenly the game is better. Will teams go out? As I said, I've had to knock back the Premier League a few times using the editor. I've bought the editor for this experiment. I've never actually used it before in a save. So I don't personally. Let's have a look at the jobs that are going. Sorted by nation. So I don't have an investment in this league yet, and I don't know if the Premier League will continue to go on and just bounce back. I don't want to have to keep editing it. I would like to think that with them not doing so well in the Champions League, that their reputation should stay where it is. And obviously, the Premier League realistically is no different other than the top six. And move their reputation. They're still getting the same amount of money as they always would. So the reason that we had the Champions League being won by Tottenham in the first couple of seasons is that whilst their reputation, I hadn't edited it then, as I said, but the other teams still didn't have a chance to catch up. They weren't able to compete in the first couple of seasons. Suddenly, though, Benfica, when we get to 2019, they've had 2 years of winning the league. So they've got 80 million from the league alone. Television rights as well is another couple million. Can I see their finances if I use the editor? Oh yeah, yes I can. Yeah, so they've got 158 million in the bank. Transfer budget at 53 million. I haven't edited any. I didn't edit anyone's starting finances, which I guess you could do if you wanted. All I did was the amount of money they could potentially get. So 40 goals. Look at that, 40 goals from this guy, Belotti. Was at Celtic for a couple of years. Scottish League, as you can see, is just as fun as always. Oh no, Hearts went and won. Look at that. Good on you, Hearts. Who have you got? Valverde. Good for you. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, it's we're getting there. We're trying to mix up the leagues. In my 2050 league year save, Celtic have won the championship for every year but one. They're on a 30-year streak of winning. Because I started with them, I won the Champions League with them and then left. And they just carried on winning. A couple of the Scottish Premier League teams got bought by tycoons, but it made no difference. Once something's established, they just carry on going. City are currently 3 times in a row winners with the Champions League. It's just boring. I'm currently in Holland, where I've won the league 5 times in a row, something like that. I'm really invested in the save because I'm just using youth players, but other than that, the same teams winning the Champions League. If I don't win it, it's the same German champion, Bayern or City or United, Tottenham, Real Madrid, Barcelona. I just get bored of that. Whereas now, if I was to jump in here, I could go to any of the leagues at all, and challenge potentially. I do wonder if the Lithuanian, the teams that leagues that I can't click on, if their grayed out players are gonna sort of take over, and maybe what to do with that is to when you start a league is to add players in straight away. There's that little box you can tick, and it's like add. I don't know, say add regions, but add. Fill the teams that don't have all of their players. You fill them up with actual players in the game, and they don't change every game. You can buy and sell them, so on and so forth. Because these guys, are so, I mean, they're only 12th to 18th. They're slowly creeping up. So be interesting to see. It might be that in 2050 in this league that we get sick of Lithuanian, Malton, and Luxembourg teams just winning the Champions League all the time. Because this is interesting. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leagues there that I can't click on. We're all creeping up. So maybe that will be an issue. I can sim it more and find out. But Belgium's doing well. Interesting in I don't think. Well, obviously they haven't won any of the Champions League or the Europa League. But yeah, that's my save that I come up with. It took me about 10 hours of editing, to edit all of the European team. It's probably a quicker way. I've like I said, I've never used an editor before, other than the one that comes with it that lets you edit stuff before a season, before your save starts. I've never had the in-game editor, so this will be interesting. I don't plan on editing my other save. That's it. I mean, I'm not one of those people who save scums or anything like that. I would have won a lot more Champions Leagues if I did. If City would stop beating me in the final. But I don't plan on using the editor in that save. I don't know if you can disable it after the game leagues or the save's already started. I don't know. This is me just rambling now. But yeah, this is my save. I thought it was interesting. As I said, it took a lot of editing to do. I had to sim for 2 days, well, 2 nights and all of yesterday to get however many years I've gone forwards to get here. And as I said, I did have to every couple of years come in and drop the Premier League because they just shoot straight back up. So yeah, hope you like it. And if you want to see more, I'm happy to sim more of the seasons and see if the prediction of these grayed out leagues is true and that they will start to dominate. But so far, I don't think. Okay, I don't get the Champions yet. Champions League. There we go. Yeah, I also recently downloaded all of the new packs and stuff. They haven't so far in the Champions League. They aren't winning, but in the Europa League, they are doing so. So I don't know. Maybe if you're really invested in the Europa League, that'd become a pain. But the Champions League so far is looking fun. I'm interested in seeing. This is more interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4 years, different winners. If you come down here, I mean, even in real life, it's the same teams over and over and over again. United's, Barcelona's, boring stuff. I mean, in real life, obviously, I say I'm a 2017 Football Manager. Obviously, now you'd have Real Madrid, Real Madrid, Real Madrid. Who gives a fuck? I want to see more Copenhagen's, things like that. That's interesting to me. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.